we're going to be doing today is we are going to start our Earth Science unit, which one of the things we're going to be doing is we're going to be learning to be a geologist, which is a scientist that studies rocks, landforms, and what's inside the Earth. So that's what we're going to be doing within this unit. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start learning about the Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon is an awesome landform to see, and it's one of those things where it's oftentimes what people come to the U.S. to look at. It's kind of like the 7 wonders of the world type of situation. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking virtual field trips to the Grand Canyon so we can learn a little bit more and start acting as geologists. Now, one of the geologists we're going to be looking at is John Wesley Powell. First of all, want to make sure you get the basic understanding. Grand Canyon is in Arizona. So right here is the Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon is along the Colorado River, so we do need to know some of the basics. It starts at the bottom of Lake Powell. Lake Powell, guess who it's named for? You've got it. It's John Wesley Powell, who is the first geologist to really kind of study the Grand Canyon in its depth and entirety. So one of the things you do need to know is that you need to know that Major John Wesley Powell was a geologist. Now, he was a self-educated geologist, meaning he learned what he learned on his own, from studying books, from reading, and from practicing in the field. He's a gentleman who lost his right arm in a battle. So he had a disability, but he didn't let that disability slow him down. Grand Canyon, as you'll soon learn, is over a mile deep. And what this gentleman did when he went on his excursion through the Grand Canyon is he actually climbed up the Grand Canyon wall and was able to go ahead and grab rocks for sampling to later study. Imagine climbing a rock wall with just that one left arm, because he lost his right arm. Tough man and determined man. So he explored the Grand Canyon, and a lot of what we know about the Grand Canyon at the early stages was thanks to him. So what we're going to be doing in our first is we're going to be acting as geologists, which means we need to kind of survey the area. And so this is going to be our area that we're working on, is a mile 20 of the Grand Canyon. And so you'll receive this sketch. So most of the times geologists will go ahead and sketch out the area. What we're then going to do is we're going to be receiving rocks from this area in the Grand Canyon. So we're actually going to be looking at Grand Canyon rocks. And what we're going to do is we're going to start making some observations about these rocks. So we might note color, we're going to note texture, how does it feel, as well as we're going to make a few other observations, which has to do with a little bit of chemistry. All right, the other thing that we're going to be doing, besides making observations about the rocks, you'll be able to see that here are the rocks that we're going to be using. Here are the numbers that are on the rocks, because that's going to help us stay organized, as well as note where the rocks came from. But what I also want to make sure that we understand is we're going to be doing a little bit of chemistry, which means we're going to be working with an acid and doing the acid test. Now, the acid test will tell us a lot about a rock and about its composition, what it's made of. And so that's something that geologists are very interested in, because that helps you understand a little bit more about the environment and the past of that rock, when that rock was first formed. And so what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be conducting the acid test, and then later we're going to find out what that acid test really is telling us. So what we're going to be doing, if you take a look, you'll need to make sure that you go ahead and you put a paper towel down. And the reason why we put a paper towel down is because we are going to be working with acid, and we don't want the acid to get on the table. My tables are made of metal, and the acid will react with the metal. So we don't want that to happen. So we're going to put a paper towel down, and then we are also going to have a plastic plate. Just to kind of take an extra precaution or extra measures, we're going to have the plastic plate down, and then we're going to put the paper towel on top. So make sure you have the paper towel. You're then going to go ahead and put the rocks with the numbers face down. So notice this one is not face down, it's face up. And I don't want us to go ahead and put the acid on that side, because it's going to wear away the number. And that's going to be something that we want to make sure we avoid, because then the next group won't be able to know or won't be able to tell where that rock came from. So we need to make sure that we're able to put the number face down, so the number goes face down, and then what you're going to do is you're going to put one drop of acid onto the rock, and then make your observations. Now, obviously, you can see right here, one of the possible observations that you're going to see is that it's going to bubble or fizz. If it bubbles or fizz, you need to note that on the data table. So it's one of those things that's going to tell us a little bit more about the rock, as well as how the rock was formed. So that's something that we want to make sure that we do. If you happen to have any questions, please make sure you go ahead and ask in class, but this is going to be extremely important, so I will not give you the procedures for this, so you will need to have this written down so that way you can access it in your notebook and be ready to go for class. If you have any questions, be sure to ask. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.